Welcome in everyone, James here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to fight level 75 Burbol. And in stark contrast to the absolutely broken RNG win condition we have in the Achilles fight, this one's not too bad. It's quite easy, to be honest. You need to get the setup right, but it's not too difficult. I have said it before and I will say it again, 90% of this fight is the setup, and you will see I'm using quite a lot of resist charms here, but perfecting the setup is key. You've got to get everything in place. There's a lot of problems that you need to solve in this fight, and once you do solve them, then it will be pretty straightforward. So this is the setup that I am using on the chest here. It is exactly the same as before. I have one weakened chance for 60% and 4 armor charms. And then on the helmet again, I left it the same. It has one more weakened chance, which combined with the one on the chest is 120%. It has one exposed chance for 60%. That's just going to help Critter along. And this guy has a permanent protect buff, so Critter is quite handy to have here because she will overwrite that with expose and allow you to deal heavier damage to Burbol himself. And then initially I still had the free poison resist. I had a unique side piece for the arms there. This one has got free acid resist, which is over 100%, so I am immune to acid here. And I have one stun resist on there because Burbol and his mate like to stun lock you in the first round. Most of the time you don't even get through that first round if you are getting stunned. But I wanted to try it out with one stun charm. Didn't go well, so I went back to the drawing board and I swapped out one of those poison resist charms from the helmet with another stun resist. So now I'm sitting at 120% stun resist but only 80% poison resist, and that means that I'm susceptible to poison damage here, so I did have to be a little bit more careful. And the weapon I'm using is the same axe that I used for Achilles. It has 100% protect, 1 crit chance on chain and 2 crit damage on chain. It is attuned to troll and outlaw. You only really need the troll attunement because the whole time you just hit Burbol, you don't really need to hit any of the other enemies. And the heroes I'm using again are Critter and Logan. They work really well for this level. With the expose from Critter, you are able to deal heavier damage to Burbol, and yeah, that is pretty nice to have because he has that annoying infinite protect buff. And the reason that I took the poison resist over taking some acid resist is because of the way the enemies work. The troll enemies put acid on you and the outlaw enemies put poison on you. Everybody pretty much knows that by now. But the troll enemies will put acid on you when you hit them, and the outlaw enemies will put poison on you when they hit you. Now I'm going to spend a lot more time hitting Burbol than these outlaws are going to spend hitting me, and that was the reasoning why I took poison off instead of taking acid off, and it worked pretty well. And the gauntlet I'm using is the Valiant Gauntlet. I really need to start remembering to take the skins off before I record this stuff. But anyway, you will see me punching at the end of the turn with this because I'm trying to proc a cheeky stun, because the Valiant Gauntlet can stun on the 4th action. It doesn't go off very often, but it's a nice little bonus when it does go off. And because I'm using chain damage and not ultimate damage, the 4th action isn't really doing anything anyway, so I might as well punch and try and get a quick stun. But going into the fight, the first thing I did was starting out with a green heroism potion. That just allows me to get off a Critter base power, use Logan Rage, and then finish the turn swinging the weapon for protect. Now I have protect, weaken, and I'm in a good position for the rest of the fight. And then the first round, you just have to keep your eye on the Minotaur on the left hand side, because he can put Fury on himself and the buffs and debuffs will overwrite each other. So he has weaken, then he puts Fury on himself, now he has Fury. The weaken doesn't do anything, so then you need to reapply your weaken to overwrite his Fury. So just keep an eye on him. You're not really in any danger from him, but just keep your eye on him. Make sure that he hasn't got Fury, because if he hits you with Fury, you will take a lot of damage. And just in case you don't understand what's happening here, the reason I'm not taking a lot of damage is because I have Weaken and Protect and the attunements as well. What Weaken does is it lowers enemies' damage by 35%, and then I have Protect as a buff on myself, which lowers incoming damage by another 35%. That's 70% damage resistance just from those two buffs. And then you have your attunements as well. In this fight I have 2 outlaw attunements and 2 troll attunements on my armor. They are 10% each. So at any point in this fight when Weaken and Protect is active, the trolls and the outlaws will only be dealing 10% of their regular damage. This is a key mechanic that you really need to learn if you want to get into the Expert Rift early. Push through even Karnheim. They have nerfed Karnheim, but back into this fight, going into round 2. The second round is a little bit more spicy. You have another Minotaur on the left that you need to keep your eye on, but then you have 2 outlaw enemies as well. There's one on the front row and a mage one on the back row, and I'm not immune to poison here because I've only got 80% resistance, and they can poison you every time they hit you. Both of their powers will hit your health directly, so you need to keep your eye on it and make sure that it's not kind of synced up. Because I have vigor potions here, you might take protect potions, and if you see both of their powers are charged on the same turn, they will kill you. So use a protect potion there. But I found vigor potions to be more than enough for this. See the cheeky Valiant Gauntlet stun there. And obviously the first thing I want to do is get rid of the one on the back row as quickly as possible. I wasn't quite quick enough, and he got his power off, which will shred your health alone without the other guy's power. And it puts a 3 turn poison on you, so when he did that I popped a vigor potion to recover. It recovers about 25% of your health, and it will get rid of all of the dots that you have as well. And then again I'm just maximizing damage to Burbol himself. I'm punching at the end of the turn to try and proc a stun, and I'm trying to get into round 3 with rage charged and critter charged as well, so that I can double rage as soon as I go into round 3 and hopefully deal with as many enemies as I can there. And you fall back into the same routine. It's just using critter based power to charge your rage, using Logan based power to keep yourself healed, and maintaining Weaken on all of the enemies. As long as you swing that weapon once, because it has 100% protect on it, you are maintaining your protect automatically. And then once you do get through into round 3, we have an outlaw archer, and these guys put fury on themselves to increase their damage, which is quite dangerous when we are susceptible to poison damage as we are. And another threat here is the troll on the back right, because what that can do is heal up all of the enemies and put focus on them as well. It charges pretty quickly, and we really don't need that archer hitting us with both focus and fury, so trying to clear out the back row as quickly as possible. So rinsing Logan's rage to try and clear out the back row. And since we're using Logan, I might as well hit that beast enemy on the front row to get a better heal out of him. You don't really need to keep your eye on much, to be honest. You have the archer in the back who can put fury on himself. You do need to watch that, because when he does, you need to overwrite it as quickly as you can, ideally not letting him have a turn with the fury buff. And I'm just using the beast enemy to get decent heals out of Logan, because I might as well. And yeah, there's not much danger here. You are basically just playing to a rhythm. You don't really need to put much thought into this, because you are pretty safe. None of these enemies can deal a ton of damage to you. The beast enemy can hit your health directly, and the archer obviously hits your health directly, but as long as you keep Weaken on them, then you will be absolutely fine. The troll got his power off and managed to heal all of the enemies and put focus on them, so there's no chance I can kill the archer now. But what we can do is overwrite his fury with weaken. So Critter is half charged up. She will only need 2 more actions, so I can charge her up and rage on the next turn after he uses fury on himself. So I'm just being patient, just waiting it out. I can use this beast enemy to get a quick healing. And then at this point, there was just Burbol and the archer in the back. So I used the Logan Rage to overwrite his fury. And then I tried to go for a Critter Rage to finish it quickly. I didn't quite get the kill with the Critter Rage, but I managed to quickly finish him off in the next turn. And that's how I did it with the warrior class. You do have to be careful. You do have to bring stun resistance, stuff like that, to make sure your build is right to take on these enemies. I mean, even with the 2 poison resist that I had, that was still a big bonus. But becoming immune to the acid, I think, was key there, because we was hitting Burbol a lot. When the acid would have gone off, I would have taken a ton of damage without those resist charms. And don't forget to get yourself into that web store for some free chests. But that is it from me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I have been James B09. Good luck out there.